Hi, in today's episode, we have Nathan and Lynn, dreamers, who have turned their dream into a reality and become extremely successful entrepreneurs with their very cute and warm breakfast brunch joint called Hole in the Wall in Bangalore. So, yes, welcome on this episode today and tell me the waffling start of your journey.
So we started as a small little 4-table place about 12 years ago, and it was started in the bottom floor of a building, which was a garage. And I think the reason why we started it is because we always, ever since we met, through dating, when we got married, we'd always fantasized about opening a place of our own. So wherever we would go, we would probably look at it from that angle and say, if we had our own place, we wouldn't do this, or we would do this, or we would also do this.
And which year was this?
This was 2000, where we started dating in 2007. And then we got married in 2009. So that's what we would do. We would just keep talking about it. And then Lynn's a fantastic cook. She comes from a long line of fantastic cooks. The whole family is amazing. And so we saw the potential in doing that. And then finally, I just think we got fed up of talking about it. We just, I know I felt that way. I just stop talking about it. Let's just do it. So then a space opened up, and we grabbed it. And we said, let's at least try it. And if it clicks, it clicks. If it bombs, it bombs, So that was how we started it off. And we never imagined it would, be this hustling, bustling kind of place. It was just set out to be a small little neighborhood cafe where we'd know everybody by name, and you'd have your regulars, and people just say, how they say in the movies, the usual, please, and that's how it all got started. But I don't know, it turned out into something completely different from what we imagined it to be.
So it must be really busy for you, Lynn. I mean, because with now such a bustling cafe, Nathan, I've noticed every time I pass by, there are like people waiting in a long queue. And I make that note that I need to go only on a weekday because weekends are so busy. So how do you manage this entire thing about managing your home and then the cooking? I believe that you look into every dish that goes inside the kitchen. Am I right?
So I do the back end, initially, but now I do only the back end cooking. So I make everything upstairs, and I have a kitchen upstairs. So everything is made there. And then the boys just put it together. I think now our life is a little more systematic and not so erratic like how it used to be. Before, we would be sitting up like 2 a.m, slicing mushrooms, making mango juice, cutting onions, tomatoes. But I think now we've got a lot of good boys helping us out. So now I think our life is a lot more systematic than.
Was it tough on the two of you when you just began, or was it just a ride? Because I would like to imagine that, not too many couples can really strike that balance of doing this together. It'd be really lovely for the listeners to know, how did you manage that? You both seem to be totally with
No,
it.
not when we're working. No, one stays in the kitchen and one is out. We just don't get along when we're working. Only some decisions we take together, but when it's stressful situations, we just stay away
That
from
happens
each
in
other.
every business, I guess.
Yeah. We talk through the stuff.
Oh, you talk to the staff. How cute is that, Lynn? So Nathan, how do
You've got
you
to find
answer?
what works. You've got to find what works, and that possibly works so far. But yeah, we have our responsibilities clearly cut out. So,
And tell us the responsibility.
I think a lot of the like Lynn says, a lot of the back end stuff, a lot of the preparing of sauces, spice powders, conceptualizing, all that happens. She does a lot of that. And I just mainly handle the
Bills,
the staff, and and all the external forces
building
that come at
owners
us
and
with a gusto. So that we both have more or less rough demarcated lines and territories. So it works for us. Ultimately, it's a yin and yang, I suppose.
So when you began in Bangalore, I don't think this whole cafe culture was so huge at that moment. Now it's like it's a hugely big
Popular
business,
thing,
and
yeah.
people are like selling things off after they've made it successful. Did you realize that you were entering into a space that would soon become much bigger than what
No.
it is? And are you guys also thinking of selling it off?
I don't think we're thinking of selling it off at all. It's like our first kid, so no. Maybe in another 10 years or so, maybe we probably think like that. But no, at the moment, we've not.
What about the other cafes? Do they pose to be? I mean, of course, its competition is always healthy, but you have an identity of your own in Bangalore, which that can't be replaced by all the newer cafes. But how do you deal with it between the two of you? I mean, when you know that there's something new close by, and has it ever affected
It did
you?
initially. Initially, we were really affected because we had competition saying that we stole their businesses, we've robbed them of their ideas. So it did affect us in the beginning, but now I think we're a little more confident in ourselves, and we know that it's not so easy for anybody to start because we've seen these people come. Couple of years later, they've gone again. So we've withstood all of that. So
How did you withstand that?
we've put our head
Because with
down
the
and did our work.
pandemic, I mean, a lot of businesses were very badly affected. People left, they went back to their villages. So, how did you both manage that?
I think, well, we've been blessed up to the pandemic, the start of the pandemic. So, I mean, what we did promise ourselves was that um, we've been in a good position up to that point. So we had to take the burden of whatever it brought along, of course, and we obviously didn't want the staff or anybody else to bear the brunt of that for no fault of their own. So that's where our responsibilities came in, where we had to stand with our staff. We had to take a hit on a lot of things, just like a lot of other businesses did. And I think it's just, fingers crossed and a lot of prayer. And we just hoped for the best, that we would overcome it. It's just a little speed breaker along the way. Just like many speed breakers we've had to cross over the years. I mean,
What is one of that speed breaker that you'd like to
so
share?
like you mentioned, like we've had unforeseen competition that has posed a challenge along the way.
What kind of a challenge, Nathan?
So I mean, it challenges your identity. It challenges your strength in the game. Your identity in the sense that you think you are defined by XYZ, and then a challenge poses itself, turns its ugly head, so to speak. And, you have to improve your game, streamline what you already do, again, try and rehash what you're doing, and, make it stronger. So not just that, but you remember us as a small little place,
Oh, yes, I do.
right in the beginning. And that's all we had ever imagined it to be, just a small little tiny place. And there's a large part of us even today that wants to go back to that space,
Why?
simply because it had a much better appeal than the mass thing that you're seeing today.
I don't think it's mass. It's still very, very warm. It has such a character of its own. You're
It
being very
does.
humble, Nathan.
So but I think it was well, we started the place with very little. We were a newlywed couple.
With a lot of bravery.
With a lot, yes, that's all we basically had.
That's all we
in
had,
retrospect, yes, that's pretty much all we had.
Financially, we had nothing.
Yeah, so we married. We had our own marriage on our own money. We're basically very self-made. We didn't take anything from our parents. We didn't take anything, just except love and a lot of support, emotionally and physically from them.
Were your parents supportive of the idea of the cafe when you guys just began?
So we are very blessed that we have parents that support us no matter what. And I think without that kind of support, we would not have reached this far, to put it as plainly as possible. It's mainly because of that physical and emotional support, as well as that intellectual advice that we would seek, especially her mom. Guided us along, when we were in doubt, right from day one, like, could we pull this off? Is it possible? And then when this crowd started coming in, when the demand started presenting itself, We were lost at one point simply because we didn't envisage all this. We didn't expect it. So we thought, 6 months, 1 year, it'll pick up slowly. We were so dead wrong. Yeah, 2 months into the game, and we had people waiting for 2 hours for a table. There were people sitting on the pavements. There were people rolling off their beds, rolling into the cafe. Nobody brushed their teeth. Hair was all over the place. People were clearly hungover. I mean, it was great. That's why I want to go back to that small little place, because it was so uninhibiting. No formality, no frills, nothing. People would just walk in how they want. They would carry their plates back to the counter. There would be people put it in the sink. If you couldn't get to the table, people would just pass the plate over all the heads, and it would
make their own bills at the end of it.
So
just
it
pay
was
us whatever and
it was
walk
just
out.
super. It was super, and but I think the practicality of that in today's world is a little ambitious. But
What a question that comes to my mind is that, as entrepreneurs, when you started something very small, become much bigger, like you said, than what you had envisaged. Okay, how are the social circle around you? I mean, are they? Do you have the time to have friendships and a social life, or is it just the cafe and the two of you? Because I've spoken to so many entrepreneurs, and then when they start from scratch and they become big, I don't think a lot of, especially in the kind of business that you are in, many people don't expect it to become big. Then when it becomes big, you know your friends and you know your foes. And you can count that on your fingers, the number of foes you have. You always exceed than the friends,
Yeah.
How has that been for the two of you?
I think we've made a lot of good friends at the cafe. We've been lucky. We've had some bad friends, some really terrible ones, but I think we've had more good friends than bad. And social life is zero. Yes, we don't have a social life, but we have a huge family that
Do
we
you
get
miss
together.
that, Lynn?
Sometimes, maybe once in a while, but I'm not I'd like a drink once in a while, but not like every Saturday night or something. I think for me, my work is, I'm a workaholic. I prefer work any day than, yeah.
You're like me.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, the first couple of years were a little difficult for us because
Yeah.
everyone was having a Saturday and a Sunday off.
And no, there were no kids that time, so
And
yeah.
she was flying with the airlines. I was working in an IT company.
And where did you meet her when she was flying with the airlines?
I met her
Airline.
mid-air.
Midair.
Well, I knew
We knew
I
each other
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah, but she fell for me mid-air.
She fell
fall
for
you
in
or
at
you
all in
fell?
midair.
Whichever way.
So I used to double up. But from my day job, I used to also be a musician. So we used to travel a lot with the band, and we were performing in Bombay.
And what was your band called?
It
Nathan?
was called the Galij Gurus.
Oh, of course, we know about the Galij Gurus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were traveling back from a show at I think Hard Rock Cafe or something. And then she was in charge of the flight that was coming back to Bangalore. And that's when I've seen her for a long time. We know each other for college days. I know her family. So, and her mum used to bake a lot of cakes. So we used to, any excuse to go and pick up the cakes because
So
she
I-
comes from a family of 5 girls. And so
He
I'm
comes
sure
from a family of 6 boys.
6 boys. So you
And
can
1
clearly
girl.
see why my family would want to go and meet their family. I'm just kidding. Anyway. So yeah, so we said hi, bye, and she gave me this little gift on the.
What was the gift?
No, I don't think you should say that.
Okay.
It was just a gift that said "call me back" or
No, I didn't say call me back. No.
I'm glad whoever
No, it was
falls.
just something that we do when we met someone on board that we knew. You give them something to take home. It was just that. He took it the wrong way. It's not my fault.
Clearly,
absolutely the right
I
way.
didn't.
So
Anyway, so
tell me,
we-
Lynn, in this initial years, did you find it difficult? Because I mean, between the two of you, who socializes more? Is it Nathan or you? Like you said, you don't like to go out too much. Because I would imagine, as a young couple, when everybody is doing the done thing and you're not, it can be a sore
Difficult.
point between couples, right?
Yeah.
No, I think we're both very focused and we knew we had to build our lives. And if we partied and we'd continue being partying, I mean, we'd never stop. It doesn't stop. So you have to know where to draw the line. And we did have our fun. I don't think, I think I had a good time. And we did have our Saturday nights, whatever. But I think we had to be focused. And if you have you want a career, you have to work at it. And I've seen my parents do that. And I think you have to draw the line somewhere.
The cooking thing came in from your mom?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah, it's
grandmom,
lots more
her
my
mom.
my
and-
So tell me a little
grandmom's
about the kind of food that you ate and, at home, and which remained like an influence. And that's when, because food, you see, is an emotion. I'm a Bengali, and on a day when I'm really down and out, I would like to eat a Bengali meal. I don't think any other food
Yeah,
will
yeah,
really. It's called the soul food, right? And so, which part of India are you from?
We're basically Mangaloreans,
Okay.
but born and brought up in Bombay. And then my parents moved to Bangalore. We were born here in Bangalore, all of us. But Mangalore food is obviously what we would, yeah. But we grew up, my mom would make everything. We would be eating lasagnas, cannelloni. She would make tortellinis and, food like you wouldn't get in restaurants. I mean, Bangalore had never seen anything like that. So we grew up eating, one day we'd have spring rolls for dinner, or she'd just get up and we were 5 girls. So she had to cook for like 7 people in the house all the time. So every night, every dinner was always a big meal. And so, I think food is a part of all of us, all the 5 of us sisters. I think we're all good cooks. We all enjoy, except the second one. But we're all...
We didn't hear that.
Yeah, I don't think she got the genes, but all of us enjoy cooking. And now my youngest sister is also in the business with us. So
So she's joined you in the work?
She's-
And how does that work? I mean...
she runs one of the kitchens, our takeaway kitchens.
your takeaway kitchen.
Yeah, so she does that. So, and Nathan's twin brother as well. So,
And who cooks at home?
obviously.
I like the authority with which she said
I
obviously.
can't even imagine trying to do that. Not
No,
with
that's
this
where I
schedule. yeah.
relax. That's what I really enjoy.
Yes, cooking it's a stress buster.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
agree with you. Absolutely. So is the kitchen is also as big and is always like today spring roll and tomorrow
Yeah.
cannelloni and
I
day
love
after tomorrow
doing that.
pasta.
Yeah.
So your children would be really having
Lunch is always a rice and a curry.
Okay.
But dinners are fun, yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little more about how you want to. Are you planning to scale it up or just stay on in Koramangala? Are you looking at other parts of Bangalore, or like you said, you wanted to go back, and I'm sure you'll never be able to go back. It's a very utopian dream.
Well, you know what? We flirt with this fantasy. This
is.
I call it a retirement fantasy, where we will set up a small little 3-table, 4-table place somewhere on a highway that overlooks a beach, and it would just be the regular mom and pop kind of joint, where just both of us doing all the cleaning and the cooking and whatnot, and there's just no staff to deal with. It's just you do everything on your own time. You have one person sitting or not. It doesn't really matter if people walk in or not. So I think we've always wanted to do that at some point. Practically, I don't know whether it's ever going to be possible.
I'm sure it will.
Well, let's see. So the restaurant till date has grown organically, in the sense that we've never advertised the place. It's only you would only hear people saying,
It's word of mouth.
I've
yes.
heard of it. Yes, you would never say, I read this big advertisement. Where's the show? Never. So we've used people as a soundboard to bring them back into the place. It's only come recommended or not. And there's nothing stronger than word of mouth. This is what we've learned over
because
this.
the whole menu is very large now.
I know.
And
There's
who's
so much
the
more we
person
want to add on to it.
responsible for this entire?
I think we're both fanatical that way, in the sense that we keep thinking of stuff, new stuff that comes. She's always on Pinterest. She's always looking for stuff, and there'll just be little twists that we happen to travel somewhere, and we get these little ideas, and then we want to do a little
some of
twist.
The customers have also added a lot of hint given. They'd customize something, and then we look at it and we're like, shit, why didn't we think like that? And then we'd put that into the menu. So a lot of dishes have also come from our customers as well, the old ones and things like that. So.
Yeah.
So on a special day, what do you guys do? Do you guys still eat at home, or do you go out and eat, order out?
No, we go out.
So you know what? I think our listeners would really like to know from you, because I think so many of us dream of having a cafe. We really don't know what the dirty story is behind it all, because we see this as something very romantic. We see this as something very, very, it's so lovely to meet so many strangers, to talk and, to have great food being dished out, Tell me Tell me what it takes to be a hole in the wall.
I think a lot of thick skin, very few hours of sleep, and I think a temperament or an appetite. I think more to approach your day like it's your first. I think that's the only thing that keeps us going, where we behave sometimes unconsciously that the place is new and, this is not in place and that's not in place and this doesn't look right and that doesn't look right. That hasn't been cleaned, etc. Whereas someone that I feel reminds himself that the place is run for over 12 years now, would sort of get complacent to a large extent. They say they know what they're doing, let it be, and, all that. So I think that kind of attitude has helped us constantly keep attacking our own business with something new, with changes, with, streamlining stuff, changing processes, changing sometimes unproductive staff or problematic staff or people that, like shortcuts or just trying to wing their way through stuff, that will eventually get caught and bring down the reputation. We're very hands-on people. So I think for you to be able to passionately run your business, if you ever were to start a cafe, would be to immerse yourself in it 100%, which means in the cafe language, get your hands and feet dirty doing it. So if you have to clean tables, you have to wash dishes, you have to cook the food yourself, you have to take complaints, you have to take the complaints on the chin sometimes, even though they can be very ugly sometimes. You have to do it. I personally, and I know both of us don't believe in sitting on a stool and watching everything function, just monitoring people. You will find us on the weekends cleaning tables. You will find us taking the orders. You will find us serving food. You will find her in the kitchen. I'll be in the outside, and that's how we keep it running. I just don't think we can ever, I think we're so obsessed with that kind of attitude that I don't think you'll ever find us sitting at home counting our bank balance. I don't think you'll ever see us doing that. We're not that kind of people. So if someone wants to start a cafe, my advice would be immerse yourself fully into it.
What would Lynn say about Nathan, the kind of partner one needs to have? What is it that they should look for?
I think I think I would have given up 2 years. 2 years after running the cafe because it was so stressful. But I think it's Nathan's willpower never to give up. He just pushed and pushed and pushed. And I think it's his patience level dealing with government officials. It just takes a lot of strength to talk to these people because you're running a business, you're just earning a living, but the amount of I don't know what it is, but to talk to these people and to deal with these people, the landlords, it takes a lot of guts. To deal with staff, it's another issue. Cooking, enjoying, serving, getting good feedback, that's all the good part of it.
People management, I think, is one of the most crucial things of any entrepreneur. And that's what I really believe. If you know how to manage people, you've won.
Half the battle won.
Won it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an extremely successful venture, So I think gone are the days when you think that you can really shout or call, talk down people because everybody and their sense of entitlement is very large, And so, hats off and hole in the wall it is. And as we end this episode, I would say that lastly, if you haven't eaten breakfast in hole in the wall, you've not eaten your breakfast yet. The moist pancake is my favorite and the orgasmic Ferrero Rocher waffle after the hearty omelette. I'm salivating and a big thank you for being in today's episode. Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Nathan.